Wow. I just unboxed this piece, and you may not even know who the fuck this is, but you need to check this out because this piece is amazeballs. I'm Mr. X, and this is the Xtreme channel. I have an Xtreme collection of high-end statues and collectibles, and this is the newest addition to the collection. And this is an older piece, so it's not new, but it's new to me. And as I said in the intro, it's been a long time since I had a statue coming in with very low expectations, and it not only blew away those expectations, but it beat the shit out of them, pissed on them, and then fucked it while it's dead. I am extremely excited and impressed with this statue, and everyone who owns it says it's amazing. Now, the problem with this statue is a lot of people don't know about this statue or even who this character is, so let's talk about that. This statue is made by a company called XM Studios. It is 1/4 scale, and they made 600 of these statues, and this is of the character Iron Fist from Marvel. Marvel, the Marvel world, comics, movies, all that good stuff. He actually has his own series on Netflix as well. He is often associated with people like Daredevil or Punisher, kind of that conglomerate of people, which is where I plan to put him with my display. And stay tuned till the end. I'll show you some pictures of him set up with them. Now, he's not a superhero or mutant like you normally see. He doesn't have a ton of cool powers, but he's very cool. His powers, so to say, are very simple. He's an expert at martial arts. Okay, great. So he's Bruce Lee. But he's named the Iron Fist. That's what his name is. I probably should have said that at the beginning. XM Studios Iron Fist, because he can turn his hand kind of into, it's not iron, but it's a fire hand, which you'll see on one of the switch outs. He retailed for 990 Singapore dollars, which is about 750 US dollars. And he wasn't very popular when XM released him a few years ago, probably because he's such a lesser known character. However, he was sculpted by the great Daniel Bel, who's done tons and tons of pieces. I recently reviewed Gladiator Hulk by Sideshow Collectibles, and I talked about all these different pieces that he's done in the Xtreme collection, including XM Black Panther. I forgot to throw that one out. I have that one as well, and Daniel Bel did that. But, so he's not really a well-known character, and nowadays you can get him for under $750 shipped. It's ridiculous how cheap he is, even on some great retailers' websites like Spec Fiction. Go check that out. And I have zero regrets for buying him. For buying a character I'm not 100% familiar with, because this statue is just amazeballs. Let's get the measurements. All right. So let's get the measurements really quick. His widest point, which is probably where he's kicking out here, to his elbow is 20 inches. However, you can kind of navigate that because you have a lot of room here. His deepest point is about 13 inches. And his tallest point is probably where his collar goes up, which is right over 20 inches. So again, I purchased him. I got a fantastic deal. I got him brand new for $700 shipped. And the person I bought him from actually owed me $400, so I paid $300. I know I really paid $700, but it feels better saying I only paid $300. But you can get them for around $800 shipped in the U.S. Like I said, I know Spec Fiction has them, I think between $700 and $800. Plenty of other great websites to check out as well. If things just moved, especially because I don't think I've switched out his portrait yet, I might have. Anyway, this is being edited in after the fact because I forgot while shooting the video that XM Studios comes with Pussy manual. I already bent it. Hopefully she didn't say that. And it comes with an art print. I haven't looked at this yet, so. And is it upside down? It's probably upside down. It's upside down every time. What a badass art print this is. But XM, if you're watching, get rid of this. Pain in the ass. So this will go back in the box because of that. So now we will switch you back to your regularly scheduled programming. Now, let's jump into the review. And when we review a piece, we look at concept, design, paint, sculpt, and overall aspect of the statue. We use the Xtreme scale. If you're new to the channel, go check out other videos that explains the Xtreme scale. But let's dive right in. And one of the things about the concept of this piece is it is out of this world. And what's really neat is the design, which we're going to talk about, is even better. And then the paint and sculpt doesn't stop either. So with the concept, starting at the base here, there's tons of Asian samurai / ninja type influence all over this statue, from the dragon emblem on the ground that is broken in half, this stone cement base with bricks running all the way up the wall, kind of jagged, kind of destroyed. And there's this awesome door, which we don't know what's behind the door. Is he breaking through the door? Is he coming out? Is this his sanctuary? Is he trying to complete a quest? And you see some more Asian elements on the back of it. And we're going to talk about the paint and sculpt, but it's just fantastic. And he is in the coolest dynamic pose. Dynamic means it's action-based. This may be one of my most dynamic statues I have. He is in a ninja form with a raging portrait, kicking through the wall, some on his feet. And one of the things we're going to look at here, he has a switch-out torso. Everything from his waist to his neck is completely different. We're going to talk about that in the design. It's kind of the same concept, other than the switch out shows his powers a little bit more, which you are going to see. I love this concept. It shows his power, it shows his rage, it shows his background. I believe, I read this on Google. It's an amazing product I just discovered. He crash landed in the mountains and he was raised by monks. Obviously, has a lot of monk attributes to him. So maybe this is where he crashed and he's grown up to an adult. I think they captured this perfectly. They made a character who's not really popular look badass and cool, and you get a new respect for the character. And I have to give this concept, it's a someone who's a master of martial arts, who's badass, shows his heritage. I think the concept's an X. So that's a 5 out of 5, and I don't give these away too often, but this guy is definitely getting an X. And as we jump into design on this piece, you can obviously see that I switched out his torso, and we'll get some side-by-side shots here in a second. But as I said, it's still the same concept, except he's showing his power through his fist. When we talk about design, we want to look at things like, are there seams? Did it go well together? Was it advanced engineering? Does it make sense? And let's jump right in, because this design also knocks it out of the park. It's very well done. First of all, it came in a number of pieces. His base is one piece. The two walls, both the door and the side wall, are separate pieces. His bottom half, minus this foot with all the bricks on it, is one piece. And it keys in to the wall in a very long key through his ass. And it's flush right with the wall, so you can't tell that it's actually separate. It looks like he's jumping, looks like he's floating. His belt on the front, these wavy lengths of the belt are another piece. Same thing with his portrait, his head right back here. His head is a separate piece, and then this torso is all one piece. The previous torso you saw, let's take a close look at that. The arms actually lock in, and I imagine they did this for shipping purposes. Where this torso right here is all one piece. The arms are completely connected, otherwise there would be seam lines. And then as you can see, there is a really cool light up feature in his fist. And the light up feature is actually on the bottom part of the torso that goes into the legs. But I love the design of this. It looks so fantastic. The fact that they made the character look like he's in mid-air kick, that he's floating, the rocks around his foot, the light up design. I'm not a huge fan of light ups, but this looks really cool. And another really cool aspect of this light up is typically when you are going to create a light up feature, for example, Sideshow's coming out with a new Iron Man, XM Studios with a new Spider-Man, they use clear resin. And it looks even better when it's lit up. However, when it's not lit up, it's too see-through, too transparent. Where this one, here's a look of it, the fist with the light on. It appears that same way, but when you turn the light off, it looks like painted polystone. So they pulled off both aspects of that. The only negative I would give to this design is the portrait, which you have to have a portrait that's detachable because you have two different torsos, is a seam line right below the jaw. However, it is hidden extremely well, but it is obviously there if you look very closely. Now, they could have avoided that by having a portrait on both statues, whether it was the same portrait or different portraits. I kind of would have preferred the same portrait because I think this portrait is fantastic and it goes with the theme and the concept of the statue really well. But I think that's a slight miss. Otherwise, it's almost a perfect design. And from my knowledge, since it's been out for a couple years, there's really been no problems with it. So design, if it didn't have the seam line on the portrait, it would be an X, but it's a W or a 4 out of 5, which we call a rail. Rail means it's not a grail, but it's something I really want. Next, we're going to talk about the paint and sculpt of this piece. We're going to start at the bottom, go all the way to the top, because that's how women like it, even though he's not a woman. And I'm really excited about this piece. I think, just my initial thoughts, I think the base is very good, and I think the character is amazing. So right at the base here, the front of it doesn't look the best. They could have done it a little bit better, some more texture, some different colors. I'm not digging the front part of the base, but obviously you're more looking down on it, especially where I'm going to display him. So if you look at the top where it has the bricks in the dragon symbol, the logo, and it's broken in half, there's some cool textures. I like how there's variance in the grays and concrete colors all throughout. It looks really good. I think they did a fantastic job. And the same thing with the wall on the side. The stone wall, you can see the different bricks. It reminds you of an older wall. So it's not, new age bricks or anything like that. Very, very cool. I also think the door is very good. I love the color. The red color really makes it pop, and it kind of gives you more appreciation for the background of the statue. For some reason, that color is associated with this type of monks and dragons and things like that. And it looks really great. I like the dragon that they have sculpted on, the gold dragon. I like that it's broken in half. They used did a great job with the paint and the colors on the hinges, and the wooden boards on the door look old and beat up. And even the back looks very, very similar. I just think they did a great job on this. I love where it's broken. Let's look at his legs. First, the foot that's breaking through the rocks. The rocks really look suspended. They did a great job at making it look like he just punched through the building, through the wall. I love how there's small ones and large ones, and there's not a lot of texture on it, but it looks like there is, which is a great way to sculpt and paint it. He's wearing your traditional ninja/monk's shoes. When I go shopping, I'll try and find some of these so I can look badass, because they look pretty girly, but he makes them look awesome. They have this off yellow color, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it works with the statue. Again, it really adds to the theme of this statue. And then wrapped up his legs, he has these bandages. This is probably the worst part of the statue, and it's really not that bad. But he has these bandages. They could have used a little bit more texture, or maybe some different shading in the color. His outfit is phenomenal. I love the folds, the different colors of green in there. They gave it the perfect amount of texture. And as it goes up, it just really pops both on his legs and on his torso. They did a very, very nice job. And it really flows with the statue. His belt looks awesome as well. I like it's a different color than his shoes and his mask. It's this golden color that really makes you think of, hey, this guy is a master at what he does. The flow of it works perfect with the statue. And then I didn't really talk about the anatomy on his legs, but the anatomy was perfect. Daniel Bel is great at anatomy, and you see that on his torso as well. Here's the one that I plan to display. Great, great job on the musculature, the veins. You can see the ribs, the six-pack. The tattoo's okay. The tattoo doesn't look real. It looks painted on. I think that's a negative. But I love the different skin tones they used as well. Very realistic, very well done. And here he has wrappings on his arm again. Really, really cool. And this particular torso, his fist is closed, where the other one, I didn't talk about this, his fists are open. Makes you think of martial art movies, almost like Bruce Lee type samurai stuff. Great sculpt on his fingers. They continue that same great flesh tone. And his back, the anatomy is awesome, and you see a lot more colors on his back. And it could just be the way it's sitting, but this is not a guy you would fuck with. Very, very cool. Here's some close-ups of his iron fist, his arm. It looks great because it's not just fire, but it almost looks like his skin is melted in between it. It's almost like a seamless transition. I'm glad they didn't go too Ghost Rider on it. Then let's look at his portrait. Starting with the mask, it's a WWE wrestling mask, but it looks awesome. I love how it appears really tight, but you see a few folds in it. The paint job just pops on this, and it really adds to the overall aspect of the statue. It looks great. The yellows and the blacks. He has the whited out eyes. And then it's just equally complemented by everything below the nose. Awesome sculpt. I think his teeth could have been a little bit longer. They seem a little short. But you can see an awesome aspect inside of his mouth. And again, just the perfect sculpt and expression and tones they used. Really, really cool. So with the paint, the only thing I am not a huge fan of with the paint is the tattoo in the middle. It would have been an X if it wasn't for that. So it's a W for the paint, 4 out of 5. And as a reminder, 3 and up, V, W, and X are all great scores. The sculpt on this piece, like I said, it's a little bit lacking down here at the bottom. I think the body is perfect. I have to give it an X for the sculpt. I think this is so well done. I'm so excited. I'm dick riding the shit out of this statue. Overall, I hate to do it. This pains me. This pains me to give out my first ever overall X for a statue. This is an amazing piece. I can't believe I took so long to jump on board with him. I'm gonna probably watch all the Netflix just because I love this statue. I'm probably gonna get some Iron Fist comics too. I just bought Daredevil Shadowlands. I don't know if he's in that, the Omni, but I love this statue. This is amazing. If you're hesitant on this, go buy it right now. Like I said, some great places to get it with. I think Spec Fiction still has some. Really, really cool. Let me know a statue that you guys got and you didn't, it exceeded your expectations as much as this did mine. Let me know that in the comments. If you haven't, give me a like and a subscribe. If not, just turn it off and you can't even hear me talking still. So always remember, Mr. X says, don't go fuck yourself.